in your life there is no exit. I know that feeling. And I know that you did your best. You did everything possible to make it happen. And after all of that, nothing works. Trust me, I know that feeling. When you rely on somebody and suddenly you're left alone in the darkness. Yes, life is dark. Yes, life is negative. But the truth is that after darkness and night, there is a time to the sunlight. Yes, I know that feeling when you think that there is no exit. The key for that exit is not in the outside. The key for your exit is in the inside. We have been given the dignity of choice. Wherever we are today, it's the consequences of yesterday's choices. I was in the same place. I used to live all my life as a king in a kingdom of my comfort zone. Until this kingdom got disturbed by one thing. I discovered that I was only focusing on what I was not getting and forget about what I was not giving. So, I declared to live full and die empty. I have been always asking myself, what is the meaning of my life? And I found the answer. To make a positive difference in the souls around me by liberating their inner chained greatness to be exposed to the sunlight and transform the planet. And today, I founded Unleash to live my purpose. I interview global CEOs, entrepreneurs, and coaches all over the world to unleash their stories and experience to the whole world. Unleash is the bridge between my purpose and my mission. And my mission is unleashing the human greatness to its utmost potential. Hey, hey, hey! Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the beautiful people who are watching and listening to us right now. Welcome to episode number 21 for Unleash with Ahmed Khaled. May I ask you, and as usual, if you can let me know in the comment below where are you from to send you some greetings and warm regards to your country. In case if it's the first time for you to tune in our Unleash, my name is Ahmed Khaled, and as I said before, I interview CEOs, entrepreneurs, and coaches all over the world to inspire and touch people by their amazing stories. Because one story has changed my life before, and one story I do believe, one story from our podcast and broadcast can literally change your life to the better as well. Let me re-stress again in our Unleash mission. Our Unleash mission is unleashing the human greatness to its utmost potential. And today our topic is the same like our the name of our program, which is how to unleash your potential, how to awaken some hidden power inside you. You will be surprised today, and especially in this episode, very, very big surprise. You will be surprised from the unlimited power that you are carrying inside you and you don't understand it. But the question that we need to ask ourselves, how much from that power that we are utilizing in our life? And how much from this power can we utilize to change our life, relationship, business, and even career? Anybody in this world can be positive when all the surroundings are positive. Anybody can be positive also when all the circumstances around us are shining and positive. But the real challenge when life knocks us down. And this is, as usual, I love to say it because I love this quote from Les Brown. When life knocks you down, what are you going to do? This is the real challenge. This is where the growth comes across our life. How are you dealing with the circumstances at this time? How are you dealing with people around you when you are knocked down? And most importantly, I believe in it, how are you dealing and handling yourself? Are you going through the situations, or are you growing through the situation itself? And as I said before, the real growth is coming from when you are knocked down on the ground. Will you be able to stay up and fight back, come back to your life, or you will be stagnant on the ground? Everybody in this life has a real turning back moment. You can either go forward or you can either go backward. You can choose either to continue or to quit. So wherever you are today is because whatever choice you have made yesterday. And when it comes to choices, then we have a wonderful and authentic guest today who will guide us to unleash those great potential inside us and have a better choices by managing ourselves. Our guest today, she is a wife and a mother of three children. She is a holistic life and spiritual coach. She is an energy healer and alignment expert. After her struggles for years of depression and the anxiety, pressure, demand of motherhoods, she decided to start researching to find a way of healing herself. Her journey of healing was not just that easy, but finally, with her personal experience, she overcome all of those challenges by herself. And she took a decision to use this personal experience of healing and serving others by helping them to get over all of this kind of stress and anxiety and pressure. She uses her gifts to help people release blocks and restriction in their physical mind and body. Can I ask you to welcome with me Tracey Gillies? But before just we introduce Gracie, just please let's give Tracy, first of all, let me thank you for accepting my humble invitation today. And I'm so excited about our topic of unleashing our potential. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, as I always start the episode, Gracie, if you can just let me know, can I ask you? Can you tell me why do you do what you're doing today?
Um, Really, it comes down to the journey that I went on to heal myself. And through that healing journey and all the different things that I learned along the way, I now help to heal other people, I guess, from maybe similar stories to mine. But the pathway was really originally just to heal myself.
Amazing, amazing, great. I think that there is something triggered what you were doing today, right? Because as you said, you were going through some challenges in life, and then there was a moment that you decided to change your life. What was the reason? Because I had the same challenge, and I believe that most people that they're listening to us right now, maybe they face the same challenges, but there is something trigger this change. What was the trigger for this change?
Um, I guess I just had enough. I knew that I needed to heal myself, and I knew that there was something more. I was really quite unwell, and I didn't think I realized how unwell physically I was and also mentally. I had a lot of stress and a lot of demands, and over the years, it almost just built up for me. And I went to the doctor, and there really wasn't any
Hmm.
answers. It was to take medication, and I really knew in my heart of hearts that that wasn't the answer for me. I felt like that would be a band-aid fix, and that I had to really find the deep underlying cause. I guess maybe you could call it like a soul calling. I just knew there was that little voice inside that was telling me that there was more and that I had to find the
Hmm.
answers. And so by then starting that journey, it's like I kind of just got led on that right path. It wasn't an easy path, it's
Yeah.
quite confronting when we start to do that work on ourselves to heal, that really deep inner work. And I guess I didn't really expect where it would then lead me into the path now of healing others. Um, but I also didn't understand how my mind and my body worked either. And so I really wasn't looking after myself properly. I wish somebody taught me years ago all of this information. I feel like a lot of, even children these days, we're not really taught these things, or even about emotions and, how to sort of deal with stress, or just so many different things that would have maybe stopped me from going down that path of having ill
Mhm.
health and mental health and just feeling really broken.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, great. I think that it requires some uh, self-awareness. I believe in that, because to move from this point uh, uh, of, I don't want to say this, but to live all of your life and just came to a point and change your life and take and question yourself the right questions and to find the right answers. It requires a real self-awareness in life. It's not easy. It's not easy step, and I believe that we'll speak about this in the coming period. But let me firstly send some greetings for our audience today, okay? So we have our friend Khalid. Hello, everyone. Great to see you, brother. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our lovely brother Shadi El Jackie, he's sending some greetings from Egypt. Our friend also Saud, he's from KSA, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Great to see you, brother. Thank you for tuning in. Our friend Shoaib from UAE, United Arab of Emirates. Great to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have Fong from Vietnam. Great to see you. Thank you so much. We have also our friend Janitha from Sri Lanka. Thank you. Friend also Jenny, our friend Jenny Side from Stockholm, Sweden. Great to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our friend Akram Masoud, hello from Jordan. Great to see you. Thank you so much. We have many people. Grace, if you can see, we have our friend from Indonesia, Treza. I hope that I pronounce your name rightly. And we have another friend, Abdul Malik. Good afternoon, Ahmed, KSA Jeddah. Great to see you guys. And before just moving into the first question that I will ask, but if you have any question in your mind, please interact, engage with us, ask us as many questions as you can, and I will jump into the question that you will ask. Let me start firstly by Tracy. If I ask you the right question, how can we manage? How can we manage the mental health? Because I believe today, with the pandemic after pandemic and this kind of virtual relationships that we have today, I think that it affects our life in totally different way. How can we manage our mental health in the right way based on your amazing experience?
Oh, I don't think people really understand the power of their mind. A lot of people think maybe it's just having positive thoughts, but it kind of
Mhm.
goes deeper than that. So maybe I could just explain a little bit how our mind works and then how that affects our body. Because, if I had known this information, I could have maybe done a few things differently in my life to manage my mental processes. So our mind can't actually tell the difference between something that we're just thinking about and something that's actually happening. So by kind of having, our mental processes and overthinking and worrying and all these things, and if you think about this modern world that we live in, there's so much noise, there's no quiet space, we've got so many demands. So
Mhm.
when our mind is holding almost like too much information, we're sort of overthinking, all of this stuff's going on, it creates this stress response. And what happens is it actually affects our whole physical body and pushes that into stress. So we have something called our autonomic nervous system. And
Mhm.
one side to it is our sympathetic nervous system when we're busy and when we're getting things done. And then we have the other side called the parasympathetic nervous system, which this is what we go into when we're resting and, when there's quiet. And our body needs to be in this place to heal and repair itself. But when we have so much noise going on at that level of our mind, we can get stuck in, it's called sympathetic nervous system dominance. And it means we can actually lose our ability to even heal and repair. So a lot of people, even like disease, they kind of think
Mhm.
maybe it's, like a pre-genetic disposition and that, things are passed down family lines. But the point is, with disease, it all comes from the same place, and it starts with our mind holding so much stress. it pushes our body into a deep state of stress, and then we lose that healing ability, because we have the most amazing ability to heal and repair if we're in balance. So it also will affect like our whole endocrine system, which is our hormonal response system. Our adrenals overproduce cortisol. It actually does a lot of damage in our
Mm.
body. It puts our digestive system into a deep state of stress. So all of these things through our mind cause our body to be in this deep state of stress. And I think if I had realized how my mind worked, I could have like given myself a little bit more like quiet space. Or, you know, instead of, we can be busy, but we also need to balance it with that downtime. You know, even being connected within to our guidance, it comes through that quiet space. And if we look at our life and we think, how much of that kind of space are we creating? You know, we just are kind of constantly going through the day of so much noise. It's really not
Hmm.
conducive for good health. So it's like we have to be really proactive about creating this space for ourselves to almost have this restful space so our mind can calm, and then our body, and we can actually access that healing ability that we already have that's within our own body.
Yeah, overthinking. I like what you said. It's
Oh,
it's the
sure.
overthinking. I believe that most people even they face this challenge. Overthinking, I think it's one of the sources of generating anxiety and pressure and all of these challenges in our life. How can we overcome this overthinking? I know that it's something in our mind, but do you have any system thinking that we can, or any way that we can uh, control our overthinking? Because overthinking, it was one of the challenges in my life, and I tried to
Yeah.
overcome this, but still, do you have any system thinking that, or way to just control this kind of overthinking?
I like journaling. So I like writing down all my kind of what I'm maybe stressed or worried about. And I feel like when you write it down, it kind of gives you more headspace, and it gets it out. You can also re-look at it and you can kind of go, okay, what am I worried about, or what is this? And it almost then, I don't want to say minimizes it, but maybe you look at it in a different way. Maybe it's not as big as you thought. But even having it written down, even if it's a simple thing as like all your to-dos and they're going around and around in your head, it's really tiring and it takes up so much space that then it's like writing it down and maybe just looking at one thing at a time. So taking away the overwhelm, but also having strategies that manage it better, not just keeping it all in
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, totally. I like what you said, because everything, sometimes we think that we have too many things in our mind, but once you liberate all of these things or thoughts in paper, from your mind to the paper, you will be able to control it. Otherwise, it will stick in your mind for a long time. I was in the same place. I think it's an amazing technique, that just to put everything in your mind in paper and
Yeah.
find a way how to solve it. Is the best technique. Thank you. I will speak about one of the challenges, either inside the workplace or outside the workplace, which is the swinging in our mood. I think it's one of the challenges, even inside the workplace and outside the workplace, which is affecting the circumstance and even our relationship with others. How can we control these kind of swings in our mood, and how can we improve this
Mm.
kind of self-awareness when it comes to that? Because I know it affects drastically our relationship, whether inside the workplace or outside the workplace. What's your view on that?
Oh, I, that's kind of a hard question because there can be many reasons for it. And before, you were talking about being more self aware. So, the more self aware we are, or the more we kind of know ourselves or know our energy, it's like we can see what maybe triggered us or what the changes were. Like, I know for me, you know, there's times I'm not perfect and I might have too many demands and there's too much going on. And maybe I do kind of have a mood swing and I don't behave in a way that, you know, that's what I really want to be, the way I want to be behaving. But there could be reasons, and I sort of know myself well enough that I'm like, okay, maybe I was hungry and my blood sugar levels got low, you know, hangry, there's that hangry. Or maybe I'm just really tired and I'm burnt out and I'm overcommitted. and I really need to say no to some commitments because it's causing me too much stress. Or maybe it is somebody else's behavior, and maybe I have to have better boundaries. So again, it's like if I know myself and I know my energy well, and I'm more tuned into myself, I can almost take those cues. You sort of talk about listening to that inner voice and those things. But again, being self aware maybe is also about asking better questions of ourselves. It's easy to point the finger at somebody and say it's their fault, but there's three pointing back at us. So it's kind of like, okay, why is this situation? Why am I behaving this way? What's triggering me? How could I be better? What's the real story? Because sometimes we think we know, or there's anger or whatever it is, but it's not really the real story. So if we start to kind of ask better questions, sometimes we come up with better answers for ourselves.
Yeah, but I think it's not easy, Tracy. If you allow me, it's not easy just to control the swing in mood because we are driven by our emotions. I know it's not
Sure.
easy that it required real self awareness because I'll tell you sometimes when we're pressured inside the work, this kind of pressure it could be conveyed to our family and our colleagues, but asking the right questions how can what do you think about how can we ask the right questions and how we can control ourselves in that moment and how can we be self-aware when it comes to that point because sometimes I am pressured that the work even inside the work I can convey this kind of pressure because I swing my mood to my colleagues and to people who are reporting to me and for sure their mood also will swing to the others to other people so it's affecting how can we be self-aware and how can we control ourselves or ask the right questions what will be the trigger in that point I know it's not easy but I'm so curious to know from your experience.
Oh, see, that's hard because, the work that I do is healing work. And often we can be responding, or not, sorry, we're not responding, we're reacting to things because
Hmm.
maybe we sort of have these deep subconscious programs running or these beliefs. So, all of this kind of things that aren't really our truth, but it's about doing that sort of inner healing work to release all these things. And again, we can then sort of respond and come from a different place. But emotions are really, they're a big key player in things because we actually transform our life through our emotions. So, I do a lot of higher spiritual work and all of this other work that I do. And sometimes I have a lot of people say to me they want to be more spiritually connected and they want to hear their guidance and all of these things. And I say, are you listening to your body? And they say, what? And I say, well, we have all this information coming through all the time. Our body's always, it holds this amazing wisdom. It's trying to tell us things, and it's in the form of emotions. But it's often we want to push away those hard emotions because people don't like them. They feel uncomfortable. But that's
Yeah.
where true transformation lies because there's keys and there's lessons. So, in order to kind of look at something, you have to be willing to feel that emotion and go into it and maybe hear what it's kind of about so that we can release those things for ourselves. So then we can respond in different ways. So, emotions and paying attention to what they're really trying to tell us would be a big key one.
Yeah, there's a question here if you can allow me I'll jump into this question. uh, our friend Brett, he is saying when work creates excessive pressure, it's not only on the individual to self-care. Business have a legal and moral responsibility to prevent this pressure that causes mental health harm. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it's one of the things that's why it's business. At the end of the day, it's people. So business if people inside or leadership they cannot control themselves for sure that they will affect drastically the mental health of people and I believe also one of the challenges here it's the virtual challenges because now after pandemic most organizations they manage their work virtually not like before and
Sure.
I think yeah this factor of uh, physical or just meeting people it's missed right now which is something that we need to have it right now what do you think about this challenge Tracy uh, because of the challenge of the virtual connections how can we manage this in our relationship on the daily basis or the challenges that we have.
Are you talking about the separation at the moment through the
Yeah,
situations of the world?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't, you know what? It's a hard one because I know for myself, we moved just before COVID happened. And then I didn't see family and there was all these things and we'd already moved, so I didn't know anyone. And I really felt quite isolated and lonely. And it was a really hard time for me, but it was also a time of a lot of growth as well because I really had to go internally again. Like you spoke about this on that intro to this podcast. It was beautiful. I was really like, wow, this is amazing. But you were just talking about, when we're kind of in these dark places, it's like we have to go in deeper or we have to dig deeper and sort of just sort of keep going. So again, if we're having these problems, we're feeling disconnected, we're feeling isolated, we have to really rectify it or look at that internally. So it's not really just what's happening externally in the world. There's all this internal things, and it's really just kind of triggering or bringing up what's already there for people. So again, it's about doing that healing work internally and kind of looking at yourself. Sometimes it's easier said than done. I have the skills that I do healing work for people, and I'm able to work in their energy at much higher levels to release these restrictions, because sometimes we're not even aware of these deep
Hmm.
beliefs we're carrying or these deep hurts and traumas and all of these things. But it really just takes that time to kind of come back in and reconnect with ourselves. I guess it's about taking full responsibility for all that we're creating. I do know there's challenging times in the world at the moment, and it is hard because there's a lot we cannot control. But at the same time, I can say, okay, what can I control? I can look after my mental health more. What does my physical body need to feel better? So there's certain things that we need that do help, with mental health and
Hmm.
those things. And you were talking about before about business and stress, the pressure of executive business life or
Yeah.
whatever. A lot of these executives, yes, they might be in this stressful role, but they've probably had stress for years and years and years. So then it becomes like this bucket that's overflowing because it was already building up in the first place. So it's about almost that self-care process and what can I do to manage myself on a daily basis that brings me back into more balance. And it kind of goes back to basics. It's really not rocket science, and it's not a quick fix of take this pill. Everybody's looking for instant gratification and the pill that works. It's about those daily disciplines and habits and the
Mhm.
things that we create for ourselves to support us on an ongoing basis.
Yeah. It's not easy, let me tell you, just to understand people, yeah, to dig deep all of these thousands of variables and get people coming back on the track. It's not easy, I would say. So
Yeah,
we have another question from
sure.
our friend. I'm not sure, LinkedIn user. It's technical issue, but we will try to find the solution for that. So our friend is asking, I would like to know how to deal with a stressed colleague taking himself for like a manager while he is just a colleague handling common businesses. Noting that I want to have a sane and friendly, respectful relationship with him. So I'm trying to
So
understand the
is it
question again.
almost is it almost like maybe people behaving in ways that maybe maybe it's hard to deal with and we're not really liking their behavior, and then how do we almost respond to that? There's always going to be people that push our buttons. There's always going to be people that especially in a working situation, you don't get to choose all the people that you work with. That's a hard one. Again, there is that saying, it's a hard one, and I know for a long time I didn't really understand it, but if we're getting triggered or there's something that's happening in someone's behavior, it really just is like holding a mirror to us. So it's kind of highlighting the areas for us that we need to look at within ourselves, because again, the only thing we can control is our response to things. No one
Yeah.
can do anything to us. I do acknowledge that there is people that sometimes, if they are pushing buttons, you do sort of want to move away, and go, okay, I need to have these boundaries and I don't really want to be involved. But there is work situations where maybe we don't get to choose. But
Yeah.
maybe it's kind of just, I don't know, what's that saying, turning the other cheek, or kind of being the bigger person that you just let it wash over rather
Mhm.
than reacting. I'm just kind of, I'm just going to kind of let it go.
Yeah. I think there are three elements here, uh, Tracy. I believe that the first element it's from the organization. I'm talking about the business. From the organizational point of view, uh, these kind of people, if they're just abusing the power, I'm just assuming abusing their power just to get rid of something or pushing people in that way. I think that there is the biggest factor it's on the organization and leadership, how they can teach these kind of people to be very respectful in the work itself. This is number one. Number two, it's that person himself and the people around, how he should control himself. I know that there is many people they don't have self-awareness at that point, but the third element will be able to let them understand or just improve their self-awareness, which is the guy who's asking or just was abused. uh, I believe that the best thing is just communicating or speaking. If you have some challenges, just don't get everything and just get everything in your shoulder or on your stomach. It will not. It will never work, because this will uh, uh, make your relationship very complicated at work. And at the end of the day, you'll find that the whole business and the whole work is uh, going to close the corner. So just speaking by the right way. I know there are some people they don't want to listen. I know, but at least try to
Sure.
speak. If you don't
Sure.
find any way in that point, just move to the higher hierarchy. I do believe that if you have a good culture inside the business, just to improve the self awareness, because sometimes we don't have this. We don't have this kind of self awareness. So it's a must. It should be a must. These three elements, I believe, that we can work on it.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you're speaking your truth and, having those boundaries and kind of, yeah, just standing up for yourself, I guess, as well.
Yeah. So uh, I loved your story, and yeah, I loved it seriously because just moving from pressure, frustration, and anxiety, and change all of this into a very successful story what you have today, and sharing your amazing experience and your lovely videos, and very authentically how to change your life, how to overcome all of this. I would like to ask you how to manage our frustrations, our stress, our pressure on a daily basis, because this is the new norm that we have right now today.
Um, Before I talked about how the mind needs silence to heal and repair. So, a good question is, how much silence are you sitting in a day? I actually did a talk just recently to a group of people, and they were quite surprised when I told them that information. And they said, "Oh, so just going to sleep at night isn't enough." And it's not. A lot of people are working all the time, yeah, and there's demands and we're busy, and then it's straight onto technology, and there's just more and more noise and more, information going in. So I would really be saying about cultivating those quiet spaces. You know, we are spiritual beings, we are multidimensional beings, and there's this aspect to us that it's like we've left out in the cold, or we've forgotten who we are. And to remember who we are, we need to reconnect in with ourselves, and that reconnection place to our higher self and our soul aspects is actually through our heart space, and it's in alignment with the natural world as well. So it's almost like coming back into our truth. We need to have that quiet space to even hear that connection or that intuition or that guidance. But even just basics as well, if you think about what a human body needs, am I eating well, hydration, even sleep? Like for me, I love sleep. Sleep's my savior, my go-to. If I've had a day where I've had enough, and I know that I've overcommitted myself, bed is my savior, and I make sure I get a really great amount of sleep every night, because our body needs to heal and repair. So I guess it would be looking at your life and what you're prioritizing. I'm a big one maybe for habit stacking too. I quite like that, where, it's like we're all so busy, but it's like, okay, where can I add in elements and do them together? So maybe it's about exercise, might be going out in nature. And so then
Mhm.
I am out in nature. I'm also in the quiet. I don't have earpods in my ear, because, again, that's just more
Yeah.
noise in. Yeah. So I'm reconnecting with my spiritual connection, because there's this beautiful quiet space. I'm getting exercise, and it's good for my mental health and my mind. So I'm kind of bringing three things together. But again, it's sort of though I don't like to use the word daily disciplines because that makes it sound, I don't know, like
Commitment.
hard work. Yeah, but then
Yeah.
again, that is, like you also talked, I think, in the start part about it's about the little choices. It's about
Yeah.
keeping going. And honestly, a lot of people think that they need to do these big things to shift and change their life. But it's really in our little choices. If you look at your day, you generally do the same things every day. So it's
Hmm.
in the little changes and the little things that we add into our life that have the biggest impact.
Hmm. Uh, you spoke about the natural, and I saw all of your videos, most of your videos. I feel the forest, and I listened for the birds, all of that.
Ah,
Do you think this is affecting our moral or our mental health? Because I see that you're always just recording it, that kind.
yeah.
Because I feel honestly when I watch your videos, I feel very relaxed when you speak, when you do all of this, because it's something I don't know. It's something hidden. What there is any hidden elements about that?
Oh, you know what? Everything is energy. Everything
Mm,
holds a vibration. And the earth, Mother Earth, holds this really beautiful vibration, a healing vibration or energy for us. And there's even a whole modality called grounding, where there's scientific research about connecting barefoot on the ground. Mother Earth's designed to take our mental static. It's like she takes our rubbish from us, our mental static, and she
mm-hmm.
replenishes us. So even simply going outside and putting your feet on the earth, like we're energetic beings. So it's like, getting back in touch with these different energies that want to engage with us. And the earth is a beautiful one, and there's so much healing. When we sometimes we go away on holiday and we think that it's just been at the beach and it's because we're on holiday, but it's the energy, it's the water, it's our feet on the earth, it's all of these things also help with our healing.
Yeah, because sometimes when I feel that I'm drained down and stressed, I open YouTube and listen for this. Just the voice of the birds and the voice of the waterfall. All of this, it makes me like relax at one time. That's why I was so curious to understand that these things. I believe that it affects drastically positively our life, and it can relax our mind and our mental health if we had like ritual on that point. Coming back to all of that, I believe that people that they live their purpose, they have a great self-awareness about themselves.
Mhm.
And I'm so curious, based on your experience, uh, how to improve our self-awareness based on the experience that you had it.
Um, Again, it would just come back to doing the healing work on ourselves. So everybody sort of wants to, raise their awareness and raise their consciousness. And to do that, it's like we have to raise our energetic vibrational frequency. And the more that we live from our heart space, like the heart space has the truth there. Yeah. So we're kind of reconnecting with our truth and our guidance. That almost raises us up, but it also helps us to hear the true story. So that's awareness, right? When we can kind of see what is really going on. Because when we're stuck at the level of our mind, that's when, there's all the stress, and our mind lives in those lower sort of vibrational frequencies. It's like fear. It wants to make up all these silly
Hmm.
stories, and there's all this kind of drama and, feeding into all of these things that aren't even true. And so it's like if we kind of have to stop ourselves and come back to our center and hear the truth, that's how we almost kind of become more aware, by really kind of, being connected and tuning back in. Awareness, again, I talked about asking better questions. I also find that helps, if I ask a better question. So the quality of your life is based around the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. Again, about change, about how do I be better? How can I be better? Sort of even like helping you to find the right answer to a situation, even like leaving it open ended. And there's this beautiful kind of, guidance and support that's there for all of us that really wants to answer, but it requires that quiet space. and not trying to just simply answer it
Wow.
and fill it from here.
Yeah, brilliant. We have another question from LinkedIn user again. I'm not sure what could you tell us how to improve our emotional intelligence workplace?
Oh, improving your emotional intelligence, it wouldn't just be at a workplace. I think some people kind of think that, often we behave, I don't know, there might be different behaviors for different areas of our life. But really, when it comes to energy or the emotion or whatever, it doesn't really judge one area of our life from another. So, therefore, it would be looking at how we're reacting or maybe what's triggering us at our workspace. What are we doing? How are we behaving? What's the emotion? But kind of look, you have to kind of be willing to dig deeper again to sort of see what's underneath it and why are we responding in that way? Um, Again, it's really comes back to that sort of deep healing work and really
Hmm.
being willing to take responsibility for ourselves and all that we create. Because again, if we sort of have this self awareness and we have these self realizations, it gives us power to make a different choice. Because again, it would have been all the choices up to that point that have gotten us to where we are now. So, therefore, there has to be a realization process or self awareness brought to it. Then, once we're aware, we can then choose sort of a different choice. It doesn't have to be a big choice, but a different choice. Otherwise, we just keep recreating
Hmm.
what we've always had. But again, all of this stuff can be stored at a really deep level, can be those unconscious beliefs, those things that we're carrying around that we didn't really realize that we've created our life from all of these things from the past. Yeah, we kind
Yeah,
of think we're not worthy, we're not good enough, we're all not this and that enough. But again, if we kind of tune back into that quiet place within us, it has a very different story to tell. We realize that we are loved, we realize that we are worthy and that we always have been, and it's all waiting to almost be unlocked in this place. But we have to visit it regularly to unlock it. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
100%. 100%. I'm with you. I'll, I think the coming question in my mind, it's a big struggle in with most people, which is, and I was one of them, honestly, which is how to balance the all dimensions in our life. And if I come back, I would say it's the work-life balance, because I was one of those people that I was working too much, too much, too much, too much from my time, and this was affecting many dimensions in my life without knowing it. I'm telling you because I was not self-aware about that. But the question now: how can we balance all the dimensions in our life, and how to balance these kind of things in the right way? Because I'm telling you that most people they're driven by operations and without just reflecting. And when it comes to reflecting what are the elements in their life or what are the dimensions in their life, you will find that work is like 90% in their life, which is something that it affects drastically the other dimensions in life. How can we balance this kind of things in the right way?
I think what you talked about self awareness, like half the time we're just kind of going through life on autopilot. And it's like maybe we're not even really realizing what we truly want for ourselves. A big thing would be to get clear about what we want, to even look at our life and all these areas of what's actually important. I realized most people have to work to kind of live. So then that's hard because work does take up a lot of time. But it's like, okay, so work is an element that I can't really shift and change. But where are other things in my life that maybe I can bring other elements in that I'm really looking for? Again, if it's all kind of work and we're not doing anything fun or to support ourselves, it's like that motivation. We've got to push ourselves, and it only lasts so long. Again, like I think about life, it's like I work with a lot of clients that are really successful, and they strive and they're always looking for that next thing and that next thing. But it's like they just keep moving the goalpost and moving the goalpost. I think it's about coming back into the present and being grateful for all that we have and all that we've created, and celebrating even just those smaller things in life. Because a lot of people are trying to attain something. They're
Hmm.
trying to attain this feeling. What is it? I don't know. Maybe it's freedom, maybe it's significance, maybe it's whatever. But again, it's like it's missing. So they feel like they've got to keep doing these actions to get it. Again, anything that you want to create has to come internally first. So therefore, it's like, how do I cultivate what I'm wanting internally, that feeling? Maybe it's
Yeah.
simple things like, I don't know, family and friends, fun. Maybe it's looking and going, I've become so robotic and I'm just working, and the fun's gone out of life. So how do I add that element that I'm really searching for back into my life? Obviously there's work commitments and we can't do it all the time, but even just adding a little bit of the things we want to create back in with simple things.
Yeah. Coming back to this point, because when you're extreme in one dimension in your life, I believe that you will reach to a point where your energy will be drained, and uh, I believe also you will come to a point where the burnout mood or the burnout stage in your life. That's why the common question: how can we sustain our levels in life and use it in the right way without draining our energy? And I believe that it will come for sure in the to the self awareness. But how can we sustain and manage our energy level along the way with a good sustainability?
Well, I'm probably going to say the opposite, because I know in the past when when I was a bit unwell and I was really stressed, my answer was, I will double down. I will be better. I will just add more to my massive to-do list. I will go to the gym. I will eat even better. And I just put more and more demands on myself. And realistically, I needed to heal, and healing takes time as well. And so, I'm a big one for less is more. And so rather than
Yeah.
going, what can I add? It's like, what can I take away? Like, we're not robots, and we can't honestly treat our bodies the way that if we're stressed and we're too busy, we can't keep going like that. It literally just ends in disease. It's really
Mhm.
sad. And some people will go, I know even friends lately, I've heard a lot of people, cancer, that's a really, nobody likes that word. It's quite, it's really scary. And
Mhm.
um but it's like people might say, I just got cancer. And it's like, you
Mhm.
didn't just get cancer, it was in the making for a long time, but you didn't listen to your body. There was probably
Mhm.
signs. So a lot of people will get, let's say, illness, and they will say it was their biggest lesson, their biggest kind of learning lesson in life. And it made them, there's some people, it really changed their life and gave them these beautiful lessons because they stopped and they started listening. So I would say start listening before it's too late. I know sometimes my kids are not feeling well and they're tired and they're saying they're stressed and they have to go to work. Sorry, school. Or they've got too much work. And I just say, you know what? The world can wait. The world can
Mhm.
wait. It will be there tomorrow. So it's like, if we take time again for that self care and we take to look after ourselves. I'm not saying don't push yourselves. I'm busy, I'm mum, I work a lot, I love what I do for work, all of these elements in my life, but I will be checking in with myself when I've done it and go, you know what, I've been too overcommitted. Maybe I need to take a few of those commitments off my plate, and I need to take a bit more time to recharge, because then I'll be better for it. So it's you've got to have that balance. I think we're all wanting the balance without taking the stuff away, and that just doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I like your philosophy because sometimes we're just moving without reflection. And I was also in the same place that I'm doing many things, many things at the same time, but I didn't reflect for one time what was working for me and what was not working for me. And this kind of reflection, I like what you said at the beginning of the episode, that when you put all of the information, all the things that you have in your mind in one paper and start reflect, see that is it working, yes or no. If it's yes, keep doing it and see if it will take you to your vision, yes or no. If it's no, get rid of it, take it away, as you said, because we are just like this. We are reflection in our mind and in our life. People, they missed it. But if you activate this kind of reflection in your life, you will be able to see what is working for you and what is not working and get rid of it.
Mm,
And then
mm.
you will take it to the next level. That's why I keep saying that reflection, it's something very essential that many people in life, they don't even reflect in their life and their energy,
No.
what is working, what's not working. Yeah, it's a
So a
missed
lot of
element.
people will know what they a lot of people will know what they don't want, and they'll kind of, and we sort of get going, oh, I'm not liking this, but they haven't really stopped to think about what they actually want to create. So then you can kind of match it up and say, well, am I doing these actions? What's going to give me what I want?
Yeah,
But going back to like a little tip on what you can do, just split focus is not good. So, when like I can be busy, and even like a mundane task could become meditation in itself. Even doing tasks, as long as I'm not kind of in my head thinking about all the millions of things I've got to do, someone's talking at me, all of these things
hmm,
are going on, that's when I might get snappy, because
hmm,
my mind can't do all these things. But if I'm focused on task, and I do one task and my whole mind is focused on it, it's quite restful. So I'm not
yeah,
saying in the whole having a rest or doing these things that we've got to stop being busy. We just need to kind of maybe be doing one thing at a time, managing that better. So the to-do
yeah.
list is good, because then I can go, what am I doing now? And then I've got it written down. I'm not carrying everything here. But it's about the little choices that have the biggest impact.
Yeah, again, it's this kind of reflection will even improve your self-awareness, because I realized, I'll tell you from my personal experience, when I start to reflect, I know that I'm not a multitask person. I cannot do many things at the same time, because when I open many things at the same time, I didn't complete anything of them, and then I come frustrated and my energy is drained. But when I focus on one thing at the same time, even its minor steps, I believe it will lead to a radical change. But just finish something. Because if you open this, I'm talking about my personal experience. There are many people for sure that they can multitask, but that what I see it effectively in my life, that if I focus on one thing and if I just move small delta every day, I feel that I finish something and I take it, and this even enhance and improve my self-esteem, that I can do many things after and after and after. But just open many things at the same time and you don't do anything, I believe that it's affecting your self-esteem and yourself. It will affect even your self-doubt about yourself, because you open many things and you didn't continue anything. This is one of the things that I want to share. So the last question, it's in my mind, it's uh, the cognitive bias. We are all have a cognitive bias. But the game now, how can we deal with this kind of cognitive bias? What's your view based on your experience, and how can you share your experience with people, how they can avoid this kind of cognitive bias?
What What do you mean by cognitive bias? Kind of talking about just managing your mind better, or can you say to me a wee bit more what you
For
mean?
sure, for sure. I would say like a cognitive bias, that I have something in my mind. Maybe I don't know is it right or wrong, but I had this kind of feeling or these emotions that this is right. Maybe it's not right. Maybe it's
Mm,
wrong. I'm biased. I'm biased always.
okay. Yeah. You, the thing is, we're all completely different at soul and who we are, and we're here to all express ourselves in a different way. And so, again, I might talk about karma. So a lot of people sort of think karma is do something good, get something good, and it's not. It is
Mm,
simply the energetic mechanism between a choice and a consequence. But
mm,
my good choice looks very different to your good choice. So again, if we have that bias and maybe we're very opinionated on what's right for us, again, it's like, if that's our truth, I think that's
mhm,
okay. But if we're not doing it in, I don't know, maybe in an aggressive way or whatever, we kind of know our truth. We stand in our truth, but we do it from kind of more of a loving aspect, without
mm,
kind of overstepping the mark. But I think it's okay to be kind of firm in what we believe. But again, I think
mm,
we have to question ourselves on what we actually are believing, what is true for us. It's not just something I picked up somewhere else. Like, is that actually true? And I think if we come back into that heart space, we can hear the truth and then I can stand in my truth. But sometimes maybe some of the bias from here, maybe they're just through fear, maybe they're through doubts, maybe they're through other things. So again, it's kind of checking in with ourselves to go, why do I believe that? Or is it serving me to believe this? Do you know, again, we can always
Mhm.
change our mindset, we can always kind of change our opinions, but again, it's maybe having better knowledge or more to kind of back things up with.
Yeah, yeah. Tracy, I would like really to thank you so much for your amazing time and your valuable time. I know that we have a difference in time, like 7 hours, and you finally we have made it together. Uh, Before we close the episode, I would like to ask you the last question. So, if anybody on LinkedIn just want to reach out to you for how you can serve them, what is the
Mhm.
best channel, the proper channel, and how you can help them by your programs?
It would just be through LinkedIn. So I'm mainly on LinkedIn. It's a fantastic platform. And then all my details would be through my profile. So I actually now work in a joint program with Greg. So we work
Mm.
with CEOs and entrepreneurs to help them to change and transform and to heal all aspects of their life. So we sort of work with people for around 6 months. In a healing, a realigning, and also coaching role as well. But all our information's on LinkedIn. And so that's the best place to reach out to me.
Perfect. So may I ask you? I think that you have a website. If you can copy and paste the website in that on LinkedIn, so anyone who's interested that on that kind of serving, they can reach out to you. Again,
Sure.
I would like to thank you again for your amazing experience. Literally, I have even absorbed a lot of values from your great coaching and great experience today, and hopefully that we can have another episode on another topic very soon. Thank you so much. And I would like also to thank our audience for their engagement. And again, if guys, if you need anything related to coaching, please don't hesitate to come back to Tracy at any time. And I guarantee you that she will help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.